Buenas tardes, clase. We are working on verb conjugations. In Spanish, there are three types of verb. Those that end in AR, like hablar. Those that end in ER, like beber. And those other verbs that end in IR, like vivir. So there are three groups. AR ending verbs, ER ending verbs, and IR ending verbs. So what I'm going to try to teach you now is how to conjugate these verbs in Spanish. And these are called regular verbs, because we have regular and irregular verbs. Okay, now these are regular verbs. Why are they called regular verbs? They are called regular verbs because they follow a pattern. They follow the same conjugation. Any AR verb or any ER verb or any IR verb will have the same endings or the same pattern conjugation. And that's the reason why they are called regular verbs. Okay, so I'm going to conjugate my first verb, which is hablar. What do I mean by conjugation? Okay, when I say conjugating, I'm going to conjugate the verb hablar. I mean that I'm going to drop the AR. That's the first step that I need to do in order to conjugate this verb. I need to drop the AR. Okay, and then I am going to add different endings according to my subject pronoun. So for yo, the ending will be O. Okay, notice that I dropped the AR first. Now I'm going to add a different ending according to the subject. Okay, now to a different subject. Okay, because the subject changes, then the ending of my verb will change as well. So the ending for to will be AS. Okay, now for these three subjects, él, ella, and usted, the ending will be the same thing, which will be A. Okay, the ending for nosotros is amos. The endings for vosotros is ais, accent over the A. And the ending for ellos, ellas, and ustedes is the same. See how these three subjects has the same ending? These three subjects will also have the same ending. And that will be an AA. Okay, so now I have yo hablo, tú hablas, él, ella, usted habla, nosotros hablamos, vosotros habláis, and ellos, ellas, ustedes hablan. What does that mean in English? Let me translate it for you. When you say yo hablo español, por ejemplo, if you say yo hablo español, you're saying I speak Spanish or I am speaking Spanish. Tú hablas español, you speak Spanish or you are speaking in Spanish. Él, ella habla español, he speaks Spanish or he is speaking in Spanish. Nosotros hablamos español, we are speaking or we're talking Spanish. We are speaking or we speak in Spanish. Vosotros habláis español, you all are speaking Spanish or you all speak Spanish. Ellos or ellas hablan español, they speak Spanish or they are speaking Spanish. So these are your endings or your conjugation for the verb hablar. Okay, now let's move on to the verb vivir, beber, perdón, to drink. Okay, now the ending for yo will always be O. So I have my O here for yo. Now notice how the ending for hablar is an AS. Now for beber, because it's an ER ending verb, now the A is going to change into an E, and then I'm going to keep my S. Now for él and ella and usted, the ending here for hablar is A. The ending, however, would be an E here. Okay, the ending for nosotros in hablar is amos. The ending for nosotros in hablar will be hemos. So what is it that I am doing here? I am changing my A for an E, A for an E. I'm changing the A here for an E. And here, what do you think is going to happen? For vosotros, the ending in hablar is AIS. The ending for beber will be EIS. And the accent goes over the E. Now the ending for ellos and ellas, for the hablar, is AN. Now for beber would be an EN. Okay, so then again, I'm changing the A for an E in my ER ending verb. And that's the conjugation of that verb. Those are the endings for that verb. Okay, now my last verb, vivir, to live. Now this verb, I'm going to have the same endings as the ER ending verb, except for nosotros and for vosotros. You're going to see what's going to happen. I'm going to teach you. Okay, so then again, my ending for yo will always be O, yo vivo. My ending for tu will be the sentence as before, an ES. The ending for el, ella will be, again, an E. Now the ending for nosotros, instead of an E, is going to be an I-M-O-S. Why is an I? Because now I have an IR ending verb. The ending for vosotros, okay, it's not going to be an EIS, just an I. Excuse me. It should be here. Vivimos. Okay. Now the ending for vosotros will be just an I and an S, so there's no E. You drop the E. And the ending for ellos and ellas and ustedes will be the same thing as this one. An EN. Okay, so now what is this verb saying? If you said yo vivo en Raleigh, yo vivo en Raleigh, what are you saying in English? You're saying I live in Raleigh, or I am living in Raleigh. Tú vives en Raleigh, you are living in Raleigh. Ella vive en Raleigh, she lives in Raleigh. We live in Raleigh, you all live in Raleigh, and they live in Raleigh. So the pronunciation goes like this. Yo hablo, tú hablas, él, ella, usted habla, nosotros hablamos, vosotros habláis, ellos, ellas, ustedes hablan. Yo bebo, tú bebes, él, ella, usted bebe, nosotros bebemos, vosotros bebéis, ellos, ellas, ustedes beben. Yo vivo, tú vives, él, ella, usted vive, nosotros vivimos, vosotros vivís, ellos, ellas, ustedes viven. And these are the conjugation for your regular verbs in Spanish. Your regular AR, your regular ER, and your regular IR verbs. Remember what I said, the first step that you must do is drop the AR if it's an AR ending verb, drop the ER if it's an ER ending verb, and drop the IR if it's an IR ending verb. Once you have dropped the end, those ER, IR, and AR, then you must add your different endings as I did on the board. The ending for you will always be O, as you can see. The ending for these two are the same. So these two will share the same ending. Okay, so that will be O, as you can see, ES, ES, E, EMOS, and here you're going to have an IMOS because it's an IR ending verb. Here you're going to have an EIS, here you're going to have only an IS, and here an EN and an EN. Okay, and these are your regular ending verbs. Now we are going to go over some of your irregular verbs. So let me explain what's the difference between your regular and your irregular verbs. Okay, so what I am going to do now, the same thing that as I did before, I am going to conjugate these three verbs. We have three verbs on the board. Estar, which means to be, ir, which means to go, and dar, which means to give. Okay, now these verbs are called irregular verbs Especially in the first subject, Joe, as you notice, I put an asterisk next to each one of them. Why are these verbs called irregular verbs? Because as you can see, if you remember for the other conjugation, now I'm adding an Y here. Not just the O, but now I have to put a Y here. Yo estoy en la escuela. Let me just write this here for you. Yo estoy en la escuela. What does that sentence mean? Yo estoy en la escuela means I am in school. Okay, so now this is a Y right here. I don't know if you guys are able to see it, but this is a Y, this is a Y, and this is a Y. Okay, so now besides my O, after I add the O, then I have to add a Y also. So it's now OY for all of them, just for the job. Only for the job subject. Put it, notice the asterisk. So it's yo estoy, yo voy, yo doy. So they are going to have the same ending. OY, OY, OY. What does yo estoy mean? I am. I am. Okay, so let me conjugate the first one for you. We're going to do it one at a time. Okay, to make it easy for you. Nah, I don't want you guys to get confused. Okay, so yo estoy en la escuela. Now I want to say that you are in school. The same ending that I used before, I'm going to use it for this one too. Tú estás. So that would be again an AS. Now for él, ella, usted would be él, ella está. Acento, I need to put an accent here, however, over the A. Nosotros estamos. If you recall, these are the same endings as the regular that we had before. Vosotros estáis. And ellos, ellas, ustedes están. So you might say, but wait a minute, Ms. Miller, why are these verbs called irregular verbs if they're following the same ending? They are called irregular verbs because, as I said before, for the yo, you have to add a Y now. In the other group, you didn't have to add a Y, so this makes it irregular. And also, if you notice, for the second subject too, you need to put an accent here. For the other one, you didn't have to put the accent, so the accent makes it an irregular. Okay, so you need to put an accent. You have to remember to put that accent there. So, estás with an accent, está. Now, estamos does not carry the accent. Estáis carry the accent and están carry the accent. So they all carry the accent except for nosotros, estamos, and yo estoy does not carry the accent either. Okay, so this will be I am. Okay, so then again, yo estoy meaning I am. Tú estás meaning you are. Él, ella está meaning he or she is. Nosotros estamos meaning we are. Vosotros estáis means you are. And ellos, ellas están meaning they are. Okay, so then again, ir means to go. So if I want to say I go to school, again I'm going to have my OY. Voy means I go, or I am going. Okay, tú, I'm going to have the same ending, tú vas, no accent. Él, ella, usted va, no accent. Nosotros vamos, no accent. If you notice again, it's the same spelling, however. Okay, vosotros vais, no accent. Ellos, ellas, ustedes van, no accent. You have the same spelling, but these ones do not have any accent. And that's another difference that you need to remember. Okay, what does this mean? Again, yo voy, I go. Tú vas, you go. Él, ella va, he, she goes. Nosotros vamos, we go. Vosotros vais, you all go. Ellos, ellas, ustedes ustedes van, they go. Okay, last verb. The last verb we have here is dar, to give. Okay, so if I want to say I give you a gift, okay, or I'm giving you a gift, you want to say doy. Yo doy means I am giving you or I give you. I give. Doesn't matter who I'm giving it to, but I just give. Or I am giving. Okay, for tú, I'm going to follow the same ending. Tú das, no accent. For él, ella, usted, da. Again, notice it's an ending. For nosotros, damos. For vosotros, dais. And for ellos, ellas, ustedes, dan. Pronunciation goes like this. Okay, I'm going to erase this so you can understand it more clearly. And then we can go back to that later on. Okay, so I'm going to have, the pronunciation will be yo doy, perdón, yo estoy, yo voy, yo doy. Tú estás, tú vas, tú das. Él, ella, usted está, él, ella, usted va, él, ella, usted da. Nosotros estamos, nosotros vamos, nosotros damos. Vosotros estáis, vosotros vais, vosotros dais. Ellos están, ellos van, ellos dan. What does it all mean in English? I am, I go, I give. You are, you go, and you give. He or she is, he or she goes, he or she gives. We are, there's an S here. We go and we give. You are, your go and your give. They are, they go and they give. The next one and the last one we're going to go over, if I may, are the verbs salir, tener, and decir. Okay, so these are also irregular verbs. And we have seen this in class before, so it would be easier for you. I hope that this explanation will be easier for you to understand. Okay, salir means to leave or to go out, tener to have, and decir to say or to tell. Okay, so what makes this verb irregular? Well, the same one as the previous one. For the yo form, when you conjugate this verb, in the yo form, you need to add a G before you add an O. So you have to have a G, and then you have an O there. So it would be yo salgo. If you do not put the G, then this would be a mistake. It would be a misspelled word, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so just gotta remember that before you add that O, you have to have a G. Just salgo, and then you put your O. The same thing for tener. If you want to say I have, you want to put a G before you put that O. And that's what makes it irregular. Okay, so yo tengo, yo salgo, yo tengo, and for the last one, decir, okay, I'm going to add my G and then my O, but also notice that the E here in the decir change for an I, and that's what also makes it irregular. So now I'm not going to say yo digo, but yo digo. So the E here changes to an I. So you have to remember that. For all of them, except for nosotros and for vosotros, notice that there's no I here. You keep your E. And you need to remember that. Okay, so going back to my salir verb, my conjugation. Tú sales. Now notice that I am not going to have a G there. The G is only and only for yo. Okay, it's very important for you to remember that. Okay, if you notice, I'm going to follow the same exact endings as the previous verb that I conjugated for you. So for él, ella, usted, the ending is an E. Why? Because it's an IR ending verb, and as we said before, IR and ER verbs follow the same endings. Okay, nosotros salimos, vosotros salís, accent over the I, ellos, ellas, ustedes salen por IN. Okay, so this would be yo salgo, tú sales, él, ella, usted sale, nosotros salimos, again with the I because it's an IR ending verb. Vosotros salís, no I, ellos, ellas, ustedes salen. Tener, yo tengo, I have. Tú tienes, I'm going to follow my sentence. Remember, they have the same ending. IR and ER ending verb, they're going to have the same endings. They follow the same ending. So ES, ES. Notice here for tener, also you have to add an I before the E. And that's another thing that you have to remember. And that's again what makes these verbs irregular, because of all the different changes that you have to remember. I know they are a pain in the neck. Okay, for él, ella, usted, again I'm going to have my I and then I'm going to have my ending, E, just like I had before. Okay, and then here for nosotros, notice again there's no I. For nosotros, you got to keep also in mind and remember this. For nosotros and vosotros, you always keep the original spelling for the stem. Okay, so here you have, what do you think you're going to add here for nosotros? An I-M-O-S? No, it's not going to be an I. You have to be an E because this is an ER ending verb. So you need a E-M-O-S. Tenemos. Okay, for vosotros, tenéis. And for ellos, ellas, ustedes, tienen. Again, notice the ending. They are the same ending except for these two. Why the different? Because for the ER, again, you don't keep the E here. Only an I. Only for the IR, you keep the I, the E, the I, not the E. Okay, decir. Yo digo, same ending. Tú dices. Él, ella, usted dice. Look again at the ending. They are the same ending. E, 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 ES, ES, ES. Now for these guys, okay, for nosotros, notice what I said. I do not change my E. I keep it for nosotros. Okay, but I'm going to have my same ending here though. Deci, here because it's an IR, decimos, and here, okay, decís, accent over the I, and then here dicen. Okay, let's go over the pronunciation. Yo salgo, tú sales, él sale, ella sale, usted sale. Nosotros salimos, vosotros salís, ellos, ellas, ustedes salen. Yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella, usted tiene, nosotros tenemos, vosotros tenéis, and ellos, ellas, ustedes tienen. Yo digo, tú dices, él, ella, usted dice, nosotros decimos, vosotros decís, and ellos, ellas, ustedes dicen. We're going to continue going over this verb over and over and over. We're going to do different exercises in the class until you really, really understand. And the more exercise you do, hopefully, you will definitely get these endings. Now let's do an exercise. What I would like to do, you're going to see this in a packet that I prepared for you. And I would like to go over this so I can, when you see your packet, when I give it to you in class, you will understand how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of them for you. question here. The question is asking you, ¿a dónde vas? What do you think that question is asking you? Well, we learned that donde means where, right? And a means to. So the question is asking you where to. And vas, hold on a second.